need to leave soon, you cast one last glance at the grave. And in the blink of an eye, the white lilies are no longer white, but soaked in vivid crimson blood, seeping from the grave itself. The tub you've been sitting in is filled with blood. We got stabbed from drinking the tea when we passed out. Hello everyone, my name is undeadjinx, and welcome to Winter Wedding. The game is set in an Omegaverse universe, where every individual is born with not only a primary gender, but also a secondary gender, alpha, beta, or omega. These secondary genders shape everything from social dynamics and interpersonal relationships to biology and legal systems. Please note the game includes themes such as social discrimination, male pregnancy, and mind-altering elements like ruts, heats, and pheromones. I don't know anything about that. You'll discover more about this world as you play. In the game, you are an Omega. Warnings for the demo. In the story, death, non-graphic, depictions of blood and serious injury, mentions of animal hunting, use of non-consensual drugs, MC experiencing... What's main character experiencing? Severe hallucinations and grieving the loss of a family member, unhealthy relationship dynamics and mind control, in gameplay, flashing lights, screen shake, jump scares, and sudden loud noises. Okay, let's get into the Winter Wedding. Also, there are only 3 endings to this game. I'm just gonna try and get one. If you guys want me to try getting other ones, let me know, and then I will do that. Do I want left body or right body? I'll take left body, and I will do she, her. I'm gonna tap my name Jinx. 10 days left until your wedding. Also, is there no music? Oh, there it is. There's the music. Winter. Not exactly your favorite season, though you've always found it soothing to watch snowflakes slowly fall and evaporate against the warmed glass of the window. You were never one of those children eager to rush outside for snowball fights or to build snowmen. That sounds nothing like me. So, when your nanny said your overprotective parents wouldn't allow it because of your frail health, you didn't feel particularly disappointed. This is giving, like, the secret garden. Now, there's no one left to enforce such rules, and that's one of the reasons winter is so sorrowful for you. Your father was never much interested in winter sports, but you know he couldn't resist your mother's persistence. That persistence ultimately cost them their lives when the ice on the frozen lake suddenly gave way beneath them while they skated. Just like in that one Barbie movie! By the time they were pulled from the water, it was too late for anything to be done. As you touch their gravestones, even through your gloves, you can feel the freezing cold of the marble. It's already been 5 years since you've lost them. Mother, father, I miss you so much. If only there were a way to stop that accident, to turn back time, but that's impossible. Anyway, I brought you some beautiful flowers. You carefully place the white lilies on the grave, speckled here and there with patches of snow. The harsh snowflakes sting your face, threatening to bury the flowers completely under the white blanket before long. Feeling the need to leave soon, you cast one last glance at the grave. And in the blink of an eye, the white lilies are no longer white, but soaked in vivid crimson blood, seeping from the grave itself. What? Your heartbeat quickens, and your breath forms a white mist that clouds your vision. Even so, the red is so intense that it overwhelms you, your head spinning, your knees buckling. Just as you're about to collapse, a strong arm catches you by the shoulder. Turning your gaze, you find Tristan standing beside you. Your butler. The butler! Is that who was on the cover of this game? There were 2 guys on the cover in the game. A red-headed guy, and then I'm guessing our butler. Maybe. I don't know. The person had, like, long, flowing, icy, blonde hair. That's our butler. His attentive eyes shift between you and the grave, as though trying to discern the source of your distress. There's no trace of alarm or confusion in his demeanor. Frantically, you glance back at the grave. I like that we're hiding behind him. The lilies are as white as when you left them. No trace of the blood remains. Are you alright, my lady? Is something the matter? I'm fine, Tristan. Just a little dizzy, that's all. So then, a fleeting hallucination. You can't exactly say it's the first time. You've never fully recovered since losing your family. You must have been affected by the cold. For a moment, you couldn't help but feel uneasy at the way his gaze sharpens, as if he's aware of what you're thinking. Now is certainly not the time to meet with another new doctor who promises to cure you with their sedatives. Thankfully, the familiar steadiness in his voice soon puts you at ease. Shall we head back to the carriage, my lady? Please hold on to me tightly. With Tristan's help, you make your way out of the eerily silent cemetery and to the carriage waiting for you. We're returning to the manor. The roads may be icy. Drive carefully. The coachman nods quickly and takes his seat. Everyone seems eager to leave this place. Everyone except you. Your attention is momentarily distracted by the stark white of the gloves covering Tristan's outstretched hands as he helps you step into the carriage. White lilies are your mother's favorite. You recall how she'd always pick the most beautiful one from every bouquet and tuck it into your hair with a smile. But after that hallucination, perhaps it's best to choose a different flower for your wedding bouquet. So we're actually getting married? Maybe it's not to our butler. You don't want to falter at the altar and embarrass yourself in front of everyone. My lady, if you could hurry. I think I dropped my handkerchief at the grave. Handkerchief? Handkerchief? Feigning a flustered expression. What is up with the alliteration in this game? You press your hand against your bag. The handkerchief is right there. If we leave a message with the caretaker, it should reach the manor within a few days. Oh, but it was a gift from Oscar. You notice a momentary pause in Tristan's expression, unaccustomed as he is to hearing you mention your fiancé's name so openly. I'll fetch it immediately, my lady. Please wait in the car. No, let's go together. I'd like to see my parents one last time. Tristan's questioning gaze meets yours, but you'd rather seem sentimental than paranoid. Given the thoughtful and caring attitude your parents have always shown towards you, you are certain no one could find you unjust. You know Tristan, known for his calm demeanor and logical approach, isn't exactly pleased with your request, but refusing you isn't an option. As my lady wishes, if you'll excuse me. Without waiting for a reply, he adjusts the loosened collar over your coat with a practical air. Unlike you or the coachman, he seems completely unaffected by the cold. In moments like these, you can't help but wonder if he truly is. Once he's finished, Tristan returns to the coachman. Keep the horses ready. The coachman's silent nod betrays his discontent. But whatever the case, you're certain he'd rather be anywhere than in Tristan's place. The sudden violent gust of wind forces you to cling tightly to Tristan, relying on his strength and warmth as much as you can. When you reach your family's grave, nothing appears out of the ordinary at first glance. We must move quickly, my lady. The weather is worsening. You know he's more concerned about you than himself. You can't help but silently berate yourself for your impulsive decision. Perhaps it really is time to meet with a new doctor. The handkerchief isn't here. Let's go back. Wait a moment, Tristan. What's this flower? Ugh. Amidst the bouquet of white lilies you left on the grave, so easily scattered by the wind, one vibrant red flower stands out. It's our red-headed suitor that I was talking about. As he pulls it free, Tristan's eyes narrow slightly. It appears to be a crimson lily, my lady. The hallucination you saw earlier flashes vividly in your mind, sending a shiver down your spine. But what's it doing here? It was likely mixed in by mistake when the bouquet was prepared, my lady. You reach for the crimson lily in his hand and examine it closely. It's identical to the white lilies you selected for your family, except for its color. Oh no, I remember the bouquet perfectly. This isn't possible. In that case, perhaps it was blown here by the wind from another grave. Look, all the flowers on that grave over there are red. Curiosity and determination compel you to rise on your tiptoes, trying to see the grave Tristan is pointing out. Indeed, on the snowy hill, there are red specks. But you're not as convinced as Tristan that they're the same flower, or even flowers at all. At that moment, your careless stance catches up with you, and your foot slips. In a desperate attempt to keep from falling, you grab onto Tristan's coat. For the first time, you manage to catch him off guard. His typically rigid posture wavers, and he leans towards you. You find his face suddenly startlingly close to yours. Oh my gosh. Find his face suddenly startlingly... These words are all difficult to say, one after the other. Though his lips remain perfectly composed, his golden eyes flicker with an unusual, unreadable glimmer. His eyes are gold? I guess they look a little gold. They kind of look silver to me. If it's important to you, my lady, I can inspect every grave here, one by one. Extra? Oh my god, just go to the red grave, the one with the red specks. It's not that deep. Your entire body heats with mortification, enough to make you momentarily forget the cold. With his help, you manage to regain your balance once more. Check the grave. Not every grave. You know this is sheer foolishness, yet you press on. I want you to check that grave. Tristan's hesitant gaze shifts between you and the hill. My lady, if you'll allow it, I'll check that grave myself. There's no need for you to trouble yourself in this weather. I need to see it with my own eyes. Stubbornness isn't a trait you're usually known for, yet the firmness in your voice leaves Tristan with little choice. Please, my lady, stay as close to me as possible. The ground might be icy. Nodding quickly to brush off his concerns, your thoughts are consumed by one thing, the origin of the crimson lily. Perhaps that's why, even though you haven't gone far, you fail to notice the freshly snow-covered pit right in front of you. Oh! It all happens in a fleeting moment, right after you let go of Tristan's arm to adjust your coat. Damn. As soon as you step forward, the dry grass barely covering the pit crackles under your weight and gives way, and in the blink of an eye, you find yourself in the cold pit. This place, too narrow for a grave, makes it impossible for you to get out on your own. Fortunately, it doesn't take long for Tristan to rush to your aid and pull you out. However, as you hurry back home in the carriage, the numbing effect of the cold begins to wear off, and the pain in your leg intensifies to a level you can no longer ignore. That sucks. Because it's like, there's no option where we would have ever gone to look at the flowers. Because either it was look at the flowers or don't, and we chose to look at them, and then we ended up falling into a hole. The doctor hastily summoned to the manor informs you that your condition is worse than you thought. There's no choice but to postpone the wedding. Unlike your fiancé and his family, who rushed to the mansion upon hearing this bad news, you can't say this little accident has made you particularly unhappy. After all, while the entire household and your fiancé dote on you, eagerly awaiting your recovery, you now have the perfect excuse to spend the snowy winter days confined to your bed. If only it weren't for the pain. Oh. Damn it, I didn't think we'd be getting endings like this. Here I was saying, oh, I'm only gonna get one ending. No, we're gonna get two. So then in that case, I'm wondering if one ending is where your wedding is postponed, and then one is where you marry one person, and then another is where you end up marrying the other person. It never occurred to me to try saving. I didn't think this would happen. Because I guess when people say that there's like multiple endings to a game, my initial thoughts are like you can play the game for a while and like they kind of just branch off as you go on, and like no matter what ending you get, it will be an ending. This kind of gives the vibe of like there's one canon ending, but there are other end game endings that you can get before working towards trying to get the canon ending. But I don't know, I could be wrong. I guess this time we'll try saying Oscar's gift is important to me. For a fleeting moment his eyes seem to darken, but it's gone almost as soon as it appears. Based on the impression you've gathered during Oscar's rare visits to the mansion, you're aware of the obvious tension between your butler and your fiancé. So it is the butler and the fiancé! I knew it. That's why this sudden change doesn't surprise you. You know Tristan, known for his calm Okay, I guess this time we'll tell him not to check the grave. No, it's not important. You've been foolish. There's no way you'll truly believe the white lilies you left behind have changed color. As you take Tristan's offered arm, you feel something new, embarrassment mixed with unease. These feelings stay with you until you settle into the carriage waiting at the entrance of the cemetery. The warmth of the enclosed space offers only slight comfort, especially with Tristan sitting directly across from you. His presence is a constant, his sharp eyes ever watchful. You're aware of the situation. Traveling alone with a servant is hardly appropriate for someone like you. But since Tristan's arrival, he's been far from an ordinary butler, to the other staff and to you. You haven't been sleeping well lately, my lady. If there's anything besides the upcoming wedding troubling you, please don't hesitate to tell me. Your expression hardens reflexively. Daisy told you this, didn't she? Daisy, your maid, seems to listen to him more than she listens to you, much to your ongoing frustration. I'll dismiss her as soon as we return to the manor. For the first time in what feels like forever, a faint smile crosses Tristan's face. As you wish, my lady. I'll make sure a replacement with all the necessary qualities is arranged promptly. That's precisely the problem. You doubt any new maid, no matter how well reserved, would defy him. Tristan is too commanding for a servant, and you, far too compliant for a master. Still, his flawless management of the estate over the past 5 years has left no room for complaint, even from you. The sound of hooves crunching through the snow fills the silence. Wolves. My lady? You asked what was keeping me awake at night. Tristan harrows his eyes slightly. Ah, I see. The howls from the forest near the manor, perhaps? It feels like they are howling louder than ever these nights. I'll arrange for hunters from the nearby village to deal with it, my lady. You needn't concern yourself. Thank you. If that's truly all that keeps you up. Your voice rises unintentionally. What do you mean by that, Tristan? Perhaps you should consider postponing the wedding, my lady. I only suggested this because winters are particularly hard on your health. Forgive me if I've overstepped. Your brows knit together in irritation, yet you can't immediately find the words to refuse him. Oscar is a noble alpha, and you, a noble omega. Marrying Oscar isn't about love, it's an obligation, like every other inexplicable, unshakable duty in your world. You know neither you nor your fiancé truly has a say in this. Postponing the wedding will only temporarily mask this reality. Still, you sense that Tristan's words might be hinting at your passiveness in this situation. I don't want to be mean to him, but also I kind of don't want to go through the wedding, with the wedding. I don't know. I'm just gonna say thank you for thinking of me, Tristan, but I'm well enough. Everything should proceed as planned. Since you avert your gaze, you can't quite make out the expression on Tristan's face. However, the unusually soft tone in his voice proves that he's only thinking of you as a good steward would. As you wish, my lady, everything will proceed as it should. As time passes, you hear the eerie creak of the wrought iron gates surrounding the estate's ground. The sound signals the end of your journey. Descending from the carriage, you clutch your bag tightly. Hidden beneath your handkerchief lies the crimson lily you found at the grave. The dark silhouette of the manor greets you with its gloom in the middle of the white landscape. Even though this has disturbed you since childhood, you cannot deny that over the years it has unintentionally bound you to this place. I think it looks pretty cool. When your fiancé expresses his desire to live here after your marriage, enjoying the manor's atmosphere, it was one of the few decisions you made together. Due to its age and size, the manor has never adequately been warm or well lit. Still, as you... I've seen this before. I know this background. Where is this background from? I just realized I never published that video because I was too lazy to edit it. But it was another visual novel, and like I'm pretty sure it was like a similar concept where like you go home for the holidays, but there's two guys and you're like, I don't know which one of you I like more, and then you have to pick. I promise guys, I'll edit that video and release it. Probably for Christmas though, because it is a Christmas themed video, which means I filmed it last year. Or I think like in January? Regardless, the background is the exact same, I swear. And you guys will notice it when I release that video. Still, as you step inside, the familiar sense of comfort and security relaxes you. Your maid, Daisy, hurries over with quick steps to help you out of your thick outerwear. She looks at you with a warm expression, as if seeking forgiveness for some unspoken guilt. Shall I prepare your bath? You decide to set aside the topic of a new maid for now. Yes, please. As you climb the stairs, you overhear Tristan giving her instructions. Make sure the bath is properly heated. Also, bring chamomile tea with honey and lemon. That sounds really good. Without a single protest, Daisy bows to him in a manner she is clearly accustomed to, and a flicker of rebellion ignites within you. However, it extinguishes as soon as you step into the corridor at the top of the stairs and head to your room. You are too tired to challenge the established order in the manor. It's a fatigue that has been intensifying in recent days, robbing you of restful sleep. It feels as if every step you take tightens invisible chains, weighing you down, forcing you to stop. You try to tell yourself this is just wedding stress. Also, another thing about this room also feels familiar. I don't remember. Oh well. At least you don't have a more reasonable explanation for it. Not yet. The oppressive silence of the manor, filled only with the sound of crackling firewood and distant footsteps, is suddenly interrupted by the creak of a door. Your eyes quickly find your maid, who has appeared at the entrance. The bath is ready, my lady. Thank you, I'm coming. As you step into the bathroom, the stifling heat envelops you. It's much warmer and more humid than usual. Steam rises from the water in the tub, filling the room with a pale glow and fogging the windows at the top of the bathroom. How's the temperature, my lady? You want to ask her to open a window, but the warmth quickly surrounds you, spreading to every corner of your body. It's fine. I'm glad. The butler mentioned you stayed outside for quite some time. This will do you good. With Daisy's help, you manage to easily slip out of your clothes. In a short time, a pile of fabric forms at your feet and you can feel the heat directly on your bare skin. Since it's still light outside, I don't think you'll need many candles. Daisy lights a few candles quickly, then turns to gather the pile of clothes. Would you like me to assist you while you bathe, my lady? Naked and vulnerable, you suppress the chill that rises within you and move toward the tub. No need, Daisy, thank you. Don't forget to drink your tea. The closing door echoes in the room as Daisy departs. Slowly lowering your body into the warm water, you sink entirely into the tub. At that moment, the pleasant and refreshing aroma from the side of the tub catches your attention. I'm scared we're gonna die if we drink the tea. Like, I feel like Daisy might have poisoned it or something. I had no intention of saving, but here we are. Saving. I guess we'll drink the tea. Despite the tart taste filling your mouth with the first sip, you keep drinking. You're amazed at how well Tristan seems to know exactly what you need. Soon, an odd sense of joy fills your mind. It feels as if all the invisible chains that weighed you down have snapped, one by one. The approaching wedding, the exhaustion of recent days, the wolves howling through the night, the crimson lilies in the cemetery, the snow-white winter, all of it fades into distant memories in your mind. Your entire body is enveloped in a sweet lethargy. Sleep closes your eyes with a pleasant inevitability. You taste peace. When your eyes open again, you find yourself still in the bathroom, but you can sense something strange even before you see it. At first glance, the only noticeable difference is the absence of daylight filtering through the windows above, replaced by shadows cast by the extinguished candles Daisy had lit. You likely dozed off in the tub. The air is so stifling that it's hard to gauge how much time has passed, but you feel the sharp clarity and freshness that comes after an untimely prolonged rest. Just as you're about to sit up and leave the tub, your gaze falls on a dark silhouette by the edge of the tub. Creepy. It doesn't take long to realize the shadow is actually a large face with a wide, toothy grin leaning against your bathtub. Fear courses through your veins, pumping adrenaline into every corner of your body. It's a dog? Or a wolf? The reverberation of the voice against the walls is unsettling, yet oddly, it comforts you. Extending your hand out of the tub, you begin stroking the uninvited guest who has been watching you inappropriately. The creature responds with quick, noisy breaths from its nose, expressing its delight. What are you doing here, Snow? Snow is one of the few things you love about winter. A few years ago, during an incredibly harsh winter, you followed faint, pitiful whimpers outside of the manor and found Snow buried in the snow-filled pit on the verge of freezing. Back then, his wet, sparse fur was barely distinguishable from the snow. Now, it has grown thick and glossy. As you run your fingers through his fur, you suddenly realize your hand is wet. You pull your hand back. You're soaking wet, Snow. Have you been rolling around in the snow again while I was gone? The discovery dampens your mood, and you can't help but grumble. How could they let you outside? You can't even count how many times Snow has slipped out into the forest without anyone noticing. If there's one thing you remember clearly, it's warning everyone in the manor about this repeatedly. Despite his silence, Snow's large eyes remain fixed on you. Don't look at me like that, Snow. The wild wolves in the forest could tear you apart. As you move your hand away from the tub's edge, you notice the trail it leaves behind. No, he's bleeding! Thick, dark droplets slowly distort the handprint, and you realize that substance coating Snow's fur isn't melted snow. Your anger quickly gives way to another emotion. Snow, I can't believe this. What happened to you? An enigmatic expression dominates Snow's shadowed face, devoid of pain. I'm telling you guys, there's so much alliteration. Enigmatic expression? Snow's shadowed? Your gaze instinctively shifts from him to yourself, and that's when you realize the truth. The marks don't come from Snow. They come from you. The tub you've been sitting in is filled with blood. We got stabbed from drinking the tea when we passed out? No! Your first scream is filled with more shock than fear. No matter how many times you open and close your eyes, the reality before you doesn't change. This can't be! How could so much blood come from me? You're absolutely certain you don't feel any pain. I'm not injured. Oh, did we start our period? You need to get out of the tub immediately. But despite the clarity of your mind, your body refuses to move, frozen like a corpse. And that is the final blow to your control. Help! Daisy! Snow's sharp teeth suddenly clamp down on your bare arm, igniting a new wave of panic. No, Snow, stop, please! Instead of pain or burning, you feel only pressure as Snow's powerful jaws tighten around your arm. With surprising strength, he manages to drag you out of the tub. Oh, Snow, let me go, he's just trying to help. That's probably what it is. If you want to help me, go outside and get someone. No matter what you say, you can't stop him. The liquid from the tub spills onto the floor as you're pulled out, and you feel the sticky blood adhering to your body, to the ground like glue. Crying, screaming, you have no other option. Please, someone come here! Isn't anyone there? Snow nudges you a few times with his paw before abandoning his efforts. He circles around you in strange patterns, letting out low, agonized whines. The stiffness and coldness enveloping your body, the blood-filled tub, your unadhered cries, and Snow's pained howls ignite one singular thought in your mind. As if trying to escape this reality, you let out a final, desperate cry. Tristan! Your voice cuts off abruptly. You have no means left to call for help. At the same moment, Snow gives up his futile struggle and collapses hopelessly on the floor. In the ensuing silence, you see the shadows in the bathroom multiply. Cold, darkness, and silence. It feels like the beginning of an eternal sleep. However, everything changes in an instant. The sound of hurried footsteps echoing through the mansion fills your ears, and your heart and senses come alive again. As the footsteps rapidly approach, the door suddenly creaks open with a terrifying screech. My lady, it's me! A shadow grows larger before your eyes, obscuring your vision. As you wait in silent anticipation, the softness of a towel wrapping your damp skin reaches you. Immediately after, strong arms lift you effortlessly off the ground. Everything's fine, my lady, I'm here. Don't be afraid. Though it sounds like a command, his words swiftly slip into your mind, silencing the uncontrollable orchestra of fear inside. Suddenly, you feel the weight of the breaths you're taking. As the stiffness in your body quickly dissolves, an involuntary ache spreads through your muscles. A warm shiver runs down your spine from head to toe. What happened here? It's freezing here, my lady, are you alright? The light from the doorway stings your eyes. Even so, you can make out Daisy, standing at the door with a lamp in hand, scanning the room in astonishment. The bathtub. The weak sound escapes your parted lips. Hearing you, Tristan turns his gaze to Daisy. Check the bathtub. You see, Daisy's hesitantly pointing her lamp at the tub without fully understanding what's going on. Oh, all the water is spilled out of the tub, and it's gone cold. Water? The realization reignites everything you thought had calmed inside. This time you're sure it wasn't a hallucination. No, impossible! Tristan, put me down! Tristan's amber eyes narrow in suspicion. My lady? I said put me down! I'll check the tub myself. Let me go! Your impatient outburst draws startled whispers, making you aware of the spectators at the doorway. If everyone in the manor could hear you, why did it take so long for them to arrive? Deciding to leave that question for later, you focus on the moment. Tristan finally complies, slowly setting you down from his arms. You take timid steps towards the bathtub, determined. Handing you the lamp, Daisy murmurs hesitantly. What's the matter, my lady? Did you see a mouse? Ignoring her, you firmly direct the lamp's light at the bathtub. But even before you do, the faint glimmer reflecting from the floor proves that only water has spilled from the tub. Looking inside confirms the same. The blood that has filled the tub just moments ago, not even a trace remains. So everything that has just happened was nothing more than another, no matter how vivid and terrifying it felt. You refuse to believe it. Tristan's calm but stern voice breaks the silence. Did I assign anyone a task that required standing idly by the door? Am I mistaken? The shadows at the doorway quickly scatter as his tone softens slightly, directed at you. You must have had a nightmare, my lady. I think you're right. Please don't be upset. It must have been caused by the sudden change in temperature. Despite the dim light, you can discern the hardening lines on Tristan's face. Luckily, they're not aimed at you. How could you leave my lady alone in the bath for so long? You weren't even aware the fire had gone out. Under Tristan's icy glaze, the poor servant's face turns crimson. I just... Never leave my lady alone under any circumstances, or you'll need to find yourself a new place to work. What are you still waiting for? Take her to her room immediately. Help her dry off and get dressed, and make sure she hasn't been hurt. Not wanting to stay a moment longer in this unsettling place, you hurry to leave. Just as you're about to step out of the room, one of the shadows in the corner moves and lunges at you. You stare at your dog in disbelief, wondering how it managed to stay still and silent in the bathroom until now. Daisy, afraid of upsetting Tristan further, tries to pull Snow away from you. Now's not the time, Snow. Get away immediately. It never listens. Bad dog. Wait, Daisy. Grabbing a nearby towel, you crouch down to Snow under Daisy's astonished gaze and start drying its fur. Did Snow go outside while I was away? The question catches Daisy off guard. No, my lady. As Tristan approaches, you see her lower her head anxiously, unable to say more. You're certain she's hiding something. Still, you don't want to interrogate her in front of Tristan and prolong the tension of the evening. But just then, you notice a dark stain on the towel in your hands. With a momentary hesitation, you lift your gaze to Tristan. His expression, oddly enough, reassures you. At least this time, you're sure it wasn't your imagination. Not now. Snow starts panting excitedly again, looking at you intently as if trying to tell you something. Yet despite the insistence of his large bright eyes, he can't convey his message. Tristan's shadow leans over him, shrouding him in darkness. Don't worry, my lady. It seems Snow isn't injured. The blood must have come from somewhere else. His brows furrow as he turns his gaze to Daisy. I've told you countless times not to give him bloody raw meat, haven't I? You know it's one of Tristan's rules to tame Snow, who already looks wilder than an ordinary dog. Though you believe there isn't an ounce of savagery in Snow, you've never opposed Tristan on this matter, especially since he's always claimed Snow was unsuitable for life in the manor. It must have been the kitchen staff who gave it to him. I don't know anything. Truly, my lady. Daisy's fleeting gaze is hard to ignore. I don't want to be mean to Tristan. I'm not gonna be mean to him. Can this be discussed later? I'm cold. Tristan hesitates briefly before stepping back in a rush. Of course, forgive me for keeping you waiting, my lady. You can rest assured that such confusion will never happen in the manor again. As you retreat to your room, Daisy carefully dries and dresses you, but your thoughts remain a tangled mess. You can barely follow her words as she continues, her gaze filled with gratitude never leaving you. Believe me, my lady, I came here as soon as I heard your voice. I just wanted to tidy up your belongings while you were bathing. I noticed one of your perfumes was almost empty, so I went downstairs to send a servant to order a new one. You know the wedding is approaching and everything must be perfect. Daisy gently rubs ointment over the few bruises on your back and legs caused by your fall from the bathroom's hard floor. As for the strong bite Snow left on your arm, there isn't a single mark. You could have guessed Snow wouldn't do such a thing, now peacefully curled up and sleeping near the roaring fireplace. Catching your gaze on the dog, Daisy immediately speaks up. I had nothing to do with that bloody meal, my lady. Bloody meal? I mean the blood on Snow. Maybe he slipped outside and caught a rabbit or something. I'd never go against Tristan's, or rather, your orders. You know, at least in this manner, she isn't lying, or more precisely, can't lie. Thank you, Daisy. Since Daisy's taking these marks more seriously than usual due to the approaching wedding, you wait for her to finish her work so you can be alone. Afterward, you try to process everything that happened during the day. After all, you need to make a decision eventually. First, the blood-stained lilies in the cemetery, then the blood-filled bathtub. They're quite different from the hallucinations you've experienced before. That's why finding a solution doesn't seem as easy as you'd hoped. If the crimson lily in the cemetery was really dragged from another grave and Snow just stole raw meat from the kitchen, oh, what am I even thinking? Of course that must be what happened. You try to push these nonsensical thoughts aside and focus on the upcoming wedding and the details demanding your attention, but before long, sleep overtakes you. In the middle of the night, you slip out from beneath your heavy blanket, unsure of what woke you. You approach the window beside your bed and peer outside. The dark forest, starting straight where the high garden wall ends, is cloaked in an eerie stillness and silence tonight. None of the wolf howls that filled the recent nights reach your ears now. Stepping away from the window, your gaze returns to your room, warm and brightly lit by the crackling fireplace. Daisy, insistent on not leaving you alone, sleeps peacefully in the chair by the fireplace, her head resting against its back. Snow, curled up at her feet, shares the same tranquility. Despite the nightmare you experienced in the bathroom, you desperately needed the peaceful sleep you found there. You start thinking of something that could help you achieve it. You consider what might help you and think of the chamomile tea as your best option. At least for now, a hot bath is out of the question. Not wanting to disturb Daisy's sleep, you decide to head to the kitchen. Someone there is bound to be awake, preparing for the day ahead, as work in the kitchen starts earlier than in the rest of the manor. Wrapping yourself in your robe, you slip quietly into the hallway. The oppressive atmosphere in the manor, combined with the chill and silence of the night, feels overwhelming. You quicken your pace as you descend the stairs and head toward the kitchen. But despite the lit lamps and the boiling pot on the stove, the kitchen is empty. Your steps, almost instinctively, lead you to another side of the kitchen, to the open door leading to the corridor where the storage rooms are located. In the dark hallway, you easily spot the only door ajar, light spilling through its gap. However, the sound coming from inside, moans perhaps, warn you against approaching. The only thing you are certain of is that Tristan is in there. Ah! We can't approach? No! No! I wanna know! What on earth did we do that made us not be able to approach him? So I guess... You know that encountering an inappropriate scene wouldn't suit someone like you. I just wanted to know, is he in there? Who's he in there with? Is he alone? What's going on? What if he's with my fiance? I don't know why my fiance would be there right now, but like, I'm curious. What can I say? Whatever is happening there, you are confident that Tristan would never let it interfere with his duties. With few other options, you decide to return to your room. Crawling back into your bed, you wait helplessly for sleep to take you. Snow, barking a few times in his sleep, makes your effort more challenging, yet Daisy remains undisturbed. Eventually, as the room starts to brighten with the first light of dawn, your eyes finally close, only to open again just a few hours later. You survived the day. 9 days left. Holy shit, this game must be really long. I didn't realize this game was gonna be this long. Wow. I mean, it seems really good so far. So I think what I'm gonna do is split this up into maybe 2 or 3 videos. This is what I was talking about. This guy must be our fiance, and this has to be our butler. So I think in the end we're probably gonna marry one or the other. This has been really interesting so far, and I can't wait to finish the game. I just don't have the time right now. And I don't want to make like a super long video that I end up not editing because it's super long. So I hope you all enjoyed. A link to this game will be in the description below, and hopefully I will see you for part 2 and maybe part 3. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.